They do say Britain and America are two countries separated by the Atlantic Ocean.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at ways American culture is showing up more and more in Great Britain.
One of the big UK retailers pushing out the boat this Black Friday is Asda. It's owned by Walmart.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Gender reveals.
I'm in the throes of planning my younger daughter Saskia's baby reveal. Please God, she's going to get the results on the 22nd, and on the 25th, we are having a gender reveal party.
Even in the US, the practice of holding a gender reveal party for an unborn child is relatively recent, emerging in the 21st century. But it's also been slowly invading the UK thanks to social media.
It has a secret chamber inside it, and when you cut into it, the Smarties, whether they're blue or pink, come cascading out of it.
Now, Brits throw the parties as well, generating needless fanfare and trying to cause a stir online for something very normal. They're also not particularly interesting affairs for anybody other than the expectant parents. In the US, devastating forest fires have been caused by these parties gone awry. Perhaps we should stop holding them over here in Blighty before similar things start happening.
It's fraught with peril, as we saw.
Yes. I think most people would just say all they really want is a healthy baby.
Pickup trucks. More and more on Britain's streets, we're seeing huge pickup trucks appear. These are staples of American life, despite most people likely not needing such a huge truck. But now they're making their way over here. We're sure that many people in certain professions do need large trucks, but when you start seeing them around the city suburbs and clogging up the roads, you know it's becoming a problem. In the past, if you wanted an obnoxious 4x4 in Britain, you'd have to go for a classic Land Rover, not an absurd Ford pickup truck. But neither of these vehicles are particularly attainable for ordinary people, being class signifiers more than anything else. Blockbusters.
We've got known in Britain for making the smaller films. Recently we've been pulling out of that into the more train-spotting area, but the smaller films, the kind of room with a view with a staircase and a pond type movie.
This has been a problem for decades, but in recent years, it seems like fewer and fewer British films are making an impact even here in the UK. As an English-speaking country, Hollywood absolutely dominates here, spreading American culture far beyond the States.
The government have got to make sure that we don't get flooded with American productions. That is a small concern.
We're not saying that American films are bad, far from it, but the ubiquity of big franchise tentpoles like the MCU could be threatening our unique culture. On the other hand, the UK now has generous tax credits for big productions.
So here's some blockbuster breaking news. Even more major movies could be coming here. Today, government plans to make it even cheaper to make films and TV shows in the UK were approved.
Barbie, for instance, was filmed largely at Leavesden Studios in Hertfordshire and had many Brits in its cast, but they were doing American accents, of course.
Hi Barbie. Hi Barbie. Hi Barbie.
Hi Barbie.
Hi Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi Barbie. Hi Barbie. Hi Barbie. Hi Ken.
The Super Bowl.
There seems to also be some kind of sporting event going on. It's very noisy. There's a lot of people here.
Dude, it's the Super Bowl, man. We're in Glendale, Arizona.
America's got a habit of creating its own sports that very few, if any, other countries play. Chief among them is American football and the NFL. But the NFL has been creeping into British life in recent years, with many Brits actually following the sport.
Christmas, there's the birth of my firstborn child, and then there's the Super Bowl.
In the 2020s, British broadcasters like the BBC and ITV have actually started broadcasting the Super Bowl on TV here too, despite the fact that it begins at silly o'clock because of the time difference.
Quintessential America. It represents all that is fun and good and happy and competitive. We're competitive.
It's fair enough that we have plenty of American immigrants living here, but what Brits are staying up into the small hours to watch American football? Paying for university.
Though sparked by clashes in London last week, there were students here from many parts of Britain with the same complaint.
For a long time, university was completely free in the UK. Plenty of countries in Europe still have free college too, including those in Scandinavia, Germany and Ireland, but not here, thanks to Tony Blair introducing tuition fees back in 1998. They began small, but have been drastically increased over the years, with the coalition government raising them to £9,000 per annum.
The proposals were put forward to help persuade some Liberal Democrat MPs to vote for a threefold rise in tuition fees.
It stayed level at about this price ever since, but the government keeps making maintenance loan requirements more and more stringent. Again, this is akin to what the US does, though luckily uni here is still nowhere near as expensive. 1 year of out-of-state college is $26,000 on average.
Today, the government's attempts to sweeten the bitter pill of £9,000 tuition fees in England were again causing controversy.
Tipping.
When was the last time you purchased something and you weren't asked for a tip? Yeah, I can't remember either.
A tipping culture in the UK is growing, despite the fact that, in a country that's run properly, tipping shouldn't happen at all. People should be paid enough with their wage alone that they don't need to rely on tips. But in the US, this isn't the case. Minimum wage is lower in America for employees in tipping jobs, and it's expected that tipping makes up the difference for them not actually being paid enough.
Nowadays, there are people who argue 20% is kind of a cheap tip.
Despite this not being part of labour law in the UK, tipping is getting more and more prevalent. Of course, it's nice to show staff that you appreciate them and that they've done a good job, but not at the cost of them being paid below minimum wage.
Tipflation refers to not just that we're tipping more, but we're tipping everyone for everything.
Black Friday.
But this American tradition is taking hold in the UK, as Black Friday becomes a critical day in the British retail calendar.
Each year, on the day after Thanksgiving, all of America's retailers put on sales so deep that people end up fighting each other to get their hands on products they probably don't need. This storied tradition has emerged in the UK in the last decade, though, as well as many other European countries.
It was started here by the likes of Apple and Amazon. Now, retailers like Tesco, John Lewis, Boots, all have Black Friday deals.
The weekend of cutthroat bargains is global, and you'll see scenes in big supermarkets on this side of the pond just as chaotic as the ones overseas. As early as 2014, and coppers had to be brought in because of people getting into fistfights over cheap TVs. The same year, people trampled over others to get into a branch of Asda. When will the madness end? Nuclear weapons. We're getting more serious now, but in 2024, it was announced that America was planning on stationing its own nuclear weapons in the UK to deal with Russian aggression.
In recent years, the UK was on a path to reducing its arsenal, but has now reversed these plans.
This is frightening news to hear, especially for a younger generation who may not know that for a long time, America was storing nukes on British soil. Through NATO, many more European countries have nuclear weapons specifically belonging to America, even though the world would be better off getting rid of them entirely.
They have around 4,000 active warheads each. About 1,800 of these weapons are on high alert, which means they could be launched at short notice.
Our own nuclear weapons are almost unusable, however, following numerous failed Trident tests where the dummy missiles fell into the sea.
Well, this is a concerning incident, and it's embarrassing for the Ministry of Defence and for the UK government here.
NHS Privatization.
It's been so difficult, hearing patients complaining about the care they're receiving.
More seriousness. The NHS is continually being eroded by privatisation, with people often scaremongering about how Britain could one day have an American-style paid healthcare system. Of course, we do pay for the NHS through national insurance, but compared to the extortionate prices Americans pay, this is next to nothing, and it's not like you're denied care if you're not earning enough to contribute.
The reason why we're mostly going out on strike, I think, to talk to people, is their concern for the quality of care that they're able to provide for the patients.
In 2022, Sunak even tried to pledge hitting people who missed GP appointments with £10 fines, something the public hated so much that he quickly U-turned on it. None of us want to experience healthcare the American way.
The government says it's committed to bringing down the 7 million strong waiting list. But health analysts warn that will not be possible unless this dispute is settled soon.
American English.
And we do pronounce things in a different way. Like you say caterpillar and we say caterpillar. And
related to the prevalence of American media and how global the internet has made modern society, more and more Brits are using American words and phrases, including alternate spellings. We've got things like people saying math instead of maths, mom instead of mum or mam, and zebra instead of zebra.
You say aluminum, we say aluminium. You say centrifugal, we say centrifugal. You say leisure, we say leisure.
It's been noted that a generation of kids growing up watching American TV and YouTubers have further eroded our uniquely British ways of speaking.
So things like pavement. So they can't work with pavement, so they've changed it to sidewalk. Yeah. They needed more information. They needed to know where they were going to be walking so that they wouldn't get run over.
But this has been noted to go both ways, as stories emerged in 2019 of American toddlers speaking in English accents after watching too much Peppa Pig.
Peppa? George, have you seen Daddy Pig's glasses? He can't find them anywhere.
No, Mummy.
Let us know in the comments whether you think Britain is becoming too American.
Glasses for your eyes, they call them eyeglasses. They needed to know where to put them on their face.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.